Have you ever seen those comments in the comment section of people saying things like, "Oh no, looks like I'm on the weird side of YouTube again"? Well, it seems I'll probably be getting some of those messages from this video because we're going quite deep today. We're going to the deepest levels of spirituality. So, if you are new here, then remember, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready to take the red pill and see the truth and follow the white rabbit, see where it leads? Or are you going to take the blue pill and go back into the dream world? Well, if you're taking the red pill, then make sure to buckle up and like, subscribe and click all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. That being said, let's get into this video. So in this video, my friends, we're going to be breaking down what organic portals are, what a handler is. We're going to be talking about non-human entities. We're going to be talking about possession, and we're going to be talking about what to fucking do about it if you have a handler, if you find yourself in that situation. We're going to be talking about targeted individuals and what some people refer to as the chosen ones. Really what I'm referring to is the people like you and I who have gone through a spiritual awakening, and we know what's going down on this planet. So first of all, we're going to talk about organic portals. What is an organic portal? Well, let me remind you that the 5 sense perception of reality is only a tiny band of frequency. For example, visible light, what you can see with your eyes, is only 0.005% of the electromagnetic spectrum, and the electromagnetic spectrum is only a tiny frequency band of what is out there in the universe, and that is according to mainstream science. And you can't hear a dog whistle doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Let's not be so arrogant to think that if we can't see it, then it can't be true. If we can't hear it, if we can't decode it simply with our 5 senses, then it cannot be true. You got to have an open mind going into this one, and you got to remember that we don't actually see with our eyes as human beings. We actually see with our brains, right? You hear with your brain, you see with your brain, and like Morpheus, says to Neo in the Matrix when Neo asks, "What, so this isn't real?" And Morpheus responds, "Well, what is real? What you can see, hear, taste, touch and feel? Then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain." The biggest part of spirituality is realizing that the way you see reality right now is not all there is. They say enlightenment is knowing how much you don't know. When you expand your mind beyond that sort of arrogant state, then you tap into new information. That's what they call having an open mind, right? Essentially, an organic portal, what I'm referring to in this video, is a being that is open to possession by non-human entities, by spirits of whatever you want to call them, because there's no one running the ship. So whether they're a source player or they're a soulless being, if there's no one running the ship, then other beings can get in there and manipulate through the host. Or if there is someone running the ship, then maybe they have an evil agenda anyway. And what I mean by evil is, as you guys know, I'm an etymologist, so I love looking at words. If you look at the word evil and flip it around backwards, it's live. So if someone is manipulating you into suppressing you from living your life, expressing yourself and following your spiritual path, if you feel like you're being suppressed, then that is a red flag that maybe there is someone trying to manipulate you in the shadows, which brings me on to the handlers. What is a handler? Well, a handler, you might think, is just the human that is sent into your life to suppress you or block you along your spiritual path from finding the truth and continuing to take that red pill journey. But it's not always simply just the host, and this is why you've got to use your discernment to decode what's going on in the situation. It's actually a being that exists beyond visible light, in the shadows, if you will. Just because you can't see it with your eyes, it doesn't mean it's not there. And these beings usually take the form of reptilian entities. Many people have spoken about this in the past, and let me remind you that there's not really any reason to speak about this in the form of fiction anyway. For those of you who have fallen for the propaganda that is put out there to stop you taking the red pill and coming across this information, obviously they censor this sort of information, but they cannot censor the new frequency that's coming through right now. So they cannot censor this information anymore as long as you are on the new frequency. And the new frequency, I've spoken about it many times, but really it's, you gotta ask yourself, are you still taking the red pill? Are you still letting love guide you and not fear? Are you still facing your fears through your challenges right now? Are you still seeking the truth? Are you still having faith? Are you still on that path? That's the new frequency when you're on that path. So these beings that exist in the shadows, they basically puppet people around you in order to suppress you or block you on your spiritual path, right? Because that spiritual path, it actually, all roads lead through the darkness to get to the light. So we have to actually see what's happening so that we can decode what's happening, and then we pass the test and we level up. That's how it works across the board on spirituality. But before you come to the conclusion and the consensus that you have a handler and there's someone trying to suppress you in the shadows, whenever we are looking into spiritual work, especially when it comes to any sort of possession, we always have to start in the physical world. You know, rule out all the real solutions in the physical world. First of all, if people are saying that you're mental, you know, you're just paranoid and all this, well, maybe get your health checked, right? Because not every case is going to be possession, not every case is going to be a handler, right? And maybe get a blood test, sort your health out, you know, and also check out other people's health around you. Are people just crazy around you? Do they have crappy diets and all this sort of thing? And you've got to realise that people are programmed on this planet, right? Everyone is programmed. It's just, is your programming good or is it destructive? Is it helping you to live the life you came here to live? Or is it evil and suppressing you on your spiritual path, blocking you from the next stages? You know, and I've spoken about the spell that is on humanity many times, so I'm not going to speak about it again in this video. But you've got to rule out the physical before you get into the spiritual. But I know most of you have probably already done that work, so this video I really want to dedicate this to those of you that do know what I'm talking about. The chosen ones, the light workers, the people that have gone through the spiritual awakening, and at this point in time we have to remember that these beings that are the main cause of all the problems on this planet, because they operate in the shadows and it all comes from them in a pyramidal structure, a hierarchical structure. It all comes from them. So if you want to solve the problems that humanity have, we have to realize where the cause is coming from. So we have to remember that unlike us, these beings operate beyond time and space, so they know what you would do next if they don't suppress you, right? So they know that who's going to wake up when and who's going to do what when, so they have to place you in situations or place NCPs or backdrop people or certain individuals into your reality to suppress or block you along your path so that you don't make certain moves on the chessboard, right, in this great awakening process. So it's really important that we diagnose these problems, and the reason why I'm even speaking about this today is because I've actually had many people speak to me about this, through my one-to-one sessions, I know that many people are dealing with this, so I wanted to put this message out there to offer some clarity to those of you who are going through it, but also to offer my services. I do one-to-one services also if you want my help decoding what's going on in this situation, because I know many people don't acknowledge this. I mean, most spiritual teachers, New Agers, they don't even acknowledge that negative entities exist. They don't even believe in good and bad. I mean, they only believe in good. They don't even acknowledge the bad. Right? But let me remind you that ignorance is not bliss. Awareness is bliss. So how do you tell if you've got a handler put on you and you're a targeted individual in this way that I speak of? Because it's not as though these beings literally possess people around you and speak through them, so you can tell like they've got this weird creepy voice or something. Unless they get deeply possessed, this can actually happen in extreme cases. But it doesn't really work like that in all cases. How it actually works is the non-human entity actually connects with the host through their auric field. It's an underlying energetic cause that then changes the holographic reaction. So the energy that the non-human entity is putting into the auric field of the host is then causing the host to verbalize certain information to you and act a certain way around you. And we have to remember that this energy that the non-human entity puts into the host is actually an energy of pure evil. But pure evil isn't always so easy to recognize, right? As they say, Satan will come to you disguised as an angel of light, right? And so what usually happens is the non-human entity has to use hosts that you have an etheric connection to. So it's usually family members or loved ones or close friends, close relationships, or even people you've had intimate relationships with, let's say sexual relations, if you've had sex with someone basically. Because this energy, it works through manipulation, because ultimately you have the power, don't you? You are the one making your decision. You can either choose to go back to sleep and take the blue pill, or you can take the red pill and you can see the truth at any moment in your life. You are ultimately the one with the power and creating your reality, this reality. We have to remember that the non-human entities, this isn't their home, this is our planet. So we are the creative beings here, we are the ones that live. They don't live here, in fact they hate life. So they can only do their job successfully if they manipulate you into making those wrong decisions. So they have to work through your weak points. This energy that is then expressed by the host, it always works through your weak points. If you've had any sort of trauma, or maybe you've got weak points like you got sort of money problems, or you've got some sort of addiction, or maybe a relationship where you're not confident enough to speak your truth in it. Ultimately, the goal is to get you to not trust yourself, so that you are not successful in figuring out what the red pill really means, and what it means to take it, and what it actually means to go on that path, so that you don't go on that path. So it's a very important part of spirituality to become aware of your internal dialogue and to face the challenges you face, right, so that you can break out of this mind control, right? It's all external mind control, and if anyone is stopping you from living your life and expressing yourself and making your own decisions in life, then you got to take your power back, whether you believe what I'm saying in this video or not. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It all comes down to you. Are you a warrior or a worrier? Are you a action man or are you a distraction man? Well, let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to hear more about this, I've just uploaded a very powerful video to my Patreon, Keys to the Kingdom, on becoming Neo in the Matrix and what it really means to take the red pill and the blue pill. We're going a lot deeper into this subject. If you want to hear more, then it's a powerful video on the law of attraction. It's my second masterclass on the law of attraction. If you want to hear and understand more about what it means to truly create your own reality, then please consider joining us on Keys to the Kingdom. The link to my Patreon and all of my services is in the description box below, and thank you all so much for your continued love and support. I really appreciate it. Let me know what this video is all about. What are you decoding it? Is this true, or is it all just a bit of entertainment? Have you experienced this phenomena in your reality? Let me know in the comments section below. I want to hear what you've got to say about it. And until next time, thank you for watching. Peace and love, my friends.